Hello, everybody. This is Tyler.
And this is Nikki.
And we're Do Go On, and we are back today with yet another Smash Standby, the series where we provide walkthroughs on your favorite Smash 4 characters. And today, we are talking about one of the original 12 from way back when, Jigglypuff. She has been in every Smash Bros. Game to date, and she has been an unlockable character in every single game. This game is the first one to mark her appearance as a starter character, which is pretty interesting. Jigglypuff has been in every game, so she is a regular at this point. So it's time to see how she fares against all the other characters in Smash 4. Her current tier position is 30 out of 33, and that doesn't sound very good, but it was literally just changed to that after the recent update.
Hey, Tyler.
What? I mean, 50 out of 53. It was just changed to that after the recent update, though. She has been a mid-tier for almost the entirety of the game's lifespan, so I don't feel like this accurately represents her position compared to the rest of the cast. Personally, I think Nikki agrees with me. She is much higher than that, in my opinion. She does not deserve the title, the fourth worst in the game, but... Exactly. That's where she is right now, and we'll just have to deal with it. So, Nikki, let's tell us about her neutral special.
I shall. So, her default neutral special is Rollout. It's actually very similar to Yoshi's egg roll, and she basically just spins in place until you, while you're charging it. And when you let go of the B button, she'll go forward at a very fast pace, and it can hit opponents multiple times. And if they try to dodge it, you can go back and hit them again. You actually can't hit them multiple times, but you can, if they dodge it, you can come back still and hit it. It stays active for a long time. And
make sure when you use this to stay on the stage, because it's very easy to kill yourself with this move.
Exactly. If you fall off the stage, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, because this move has its own helpless state, actually. If you hit something while you're in this move, she keeps rolling in air, and it's one of the only moves that has its own helpless state like this. Her first custom for Rollout is Relentless Rollout. With this custom move, you don't stop if you are hit by an opponent. Your rolling time is longer than normal, and the speed is slightly higher as well. The downsides to this move is that it does provide lower damage, and it is slightly harder to change directions, but it is one of her better custom moves.
And her other custom move for Rollout is Raging Rollout. It's the same. It's pretty much the same, except it takes longer to charge the attack, and it has higher knockback, and you roll a lot faster across the stage. But the one downside is that you can't turn around while you're in the middle of the animation of the attack.
Yeah. Her side special is Pound, which in my opinion is the best shield breaker move in the game, even better than Marth and Lucina's shield breaker, because it is extremely fast. It actually isn't that fast, but it's a pretty fast move. It's a stiff, like, forward-moving slap. It causes your opponent to pop vertically up into the air. It has pretty good range, and it stays out for a long time. And the way this attack is strong is because it works so well against shields. And it also works sort of as a horizontal recovery because you can stall or extend your time in the air.
Her first custom for Pound is Sideways Pound, and it doesn't do quite as much damage, but its knockback makes the foe. It pretty much partially spikes them like a Meteor Smash attack would.
Yeah. And her last special for Pound is Pound Blitz, which in my opinion, I got the two best custom specials that Jigglypuff has. Relentless Rollout is really good, and so is Pound Blitz. Pound Blitz, she basically punches the opponent while sliding across the ground. This version of Pound hits multiple times. So it basically improves its already good recovery.
Her up special is, to my knowledge, the only up special in the entire game that doesn't grant any kind of recovery, so it pretty much sucks, is Sing. She sings her song that she sings in like the anime and stuff, her Jigglypuff song, and it puts foes to sleep. But the problem is that if you try to use it off stage, you will start singing and you can't move until the song's finished. It grants no recovery and you just stop dead in your tracks when you use it. So it's good if you can somehow manage to hit someone, but you almost never do.
Yeah. And now we're getting into where Jigglypuff really struggles because her up and down specials are notable for being some of the worst custom moves in the game. Those custom sets. Hyper Voice isn't that bad, but the one Nikki's about to tell you about is considered the worst custom move in the game. Hyper Voice, instead of putting opponents to sleep, it knocks opponents away, and it's unlike Sing in the fact that it can hit airborne opponents, and the final sound wave has more range than the previous ones.
And onwards to her second custom for up special is Spinfany. And it's very slow, but it can flip opponents, and it's almost like Mario's cape, but it'll only flip them if they're facing Jigglypuff.
That's the problem with this move.
Yeah. And it does a little bit of damage, but not near as much as Hyper Voice or anything. It does hardly anything. And it's basically just really bad.
It is. I do not recommend, if you're trying to get a custom Jigglypuff for a tournament, do not get Spinfany or one of her down specials, which we'll get to in a bit, because they're both extremely bad moves.
Yeah.
Speaking of her down special, we have Rest, which is a pretty famous move for Jigglypuff. She takes a short nap, and anyone that makes contact with her, or that I should say she makes contact with, are launched extremely far vertically. If they survive the hit, they do have a flower, also known as a lipstick, on their head that does damage over time. This move has an extremely small hitbox, so it's very easy to get gimped if you miss, because you sleep for like 5 or 6 seconds, I think, right, Nikki?
Yeah, something like that.
So if you miss, basically you make sure you hit your opponent if you use this move, because if you don't hit it, like, since Jigglypuff is so light, you're basically screwed.
Yeah, it's very good if you set up with Sing first, but the chances of you hitting Sing and then them not waking up before you can get a rest off, it's pretty much not worth it.
Yeah.
Her first custom for down special is Leaping Rest. And Jigglypuff jumps into the air while she's falling asleep, and it's a lot weaker than her normal rest, but it's faster to start the attack, and it's still pretty good. You can't grab the ledges while jumping, so it's not a very good recovery move, but it's not too horrible, I guess.
It's not nearly as bad as the custom move I told you about earlier, which is Wakey Wakey. Wakey Wakey and Spinfany are two of the worst custom moves in the entire game, and they're both with Jigglypuff's custom moveset. Wakey Wakey is basically she takes a very short nap and then explodes after waking up. The problem is that by the time you explode, your opponent will know that it's going to happen if it is a custom match, and they'll be able to get out of the way. So this move has legitimately no use, because in terms of recovery, by the time you want to recover, you're already falling down too far. So even if you do get pushed up by the explosion, it literally does nothing to help you. It can't be countered, this explosion, that's the one thing. But it can be absorbed by characters like Ness and Lucas. And another thing, the reason it's so bad is that it actually deals damage to Jigglypuff. It deals her 5% recoil damage, so, I mean, it is just one of the worst moves in the game.
It pretty much just sucks.
Yeah.
Now moving onwards to her tilt attacks, her forward tick. Her forward tilt, it's just a spinning kick, and it's a pretty short range attack.
Yeah, not much to say about that one. Her up tilt, similar to Kirby's actually, she leans forward and kicks up from behind her body, and it launches opponents upward. Contrary to popular belief, this actually does hit if an opponent is standing in front of you. People seem to think you have to like have your back facing the opponent to hit because it does hit behind, but the move does go to the very top of Jigglypuff's head, so it will hit the opponent if they're standing in front of you.
Her down tilt, she just ducks down and kicks basically and kicks the opponent.
Yes.
But that's all there really is to talk about.
And this is where Jigglypuff shines. Her aerials, just before we start, all of her air attacks have extremely good damage output with very low knockback. And coupled with her multiple jumps, this greatly increases your combo opportunities and your overall effectiveness in the air. So we'll show you why right now. Her neutral aerial is one of her best aerials. She does a jump kick attack, and it is a sex kick, so it stays out for a long time and does less damage if it hits later, but it's extremely good for a mechanic Jigglypuff has, which is called a wall of pain, where you keep pushing the opponent off the stage. She is the only character in the game that has this mechanic, because she does have her neutral and forward aerial to help her do this.
That brings us to her forward aerial, which is what you use to set up the wall of pain. You basically, it's just a real quick attack to forward, but if you can manage to wall an opponent off of the stage if you keep hitting them, and since Jigglypuff can jump 5 or 6 times, I don't remember the exact number, but since she could jump a lot, you can just keep on hitting them with forward aerial up until they're off the stage too far they can't recover.
Yeah. Her back aerial is another really good move. It is her strongest aerial, not counting if you land every hit of down air. But just with back air, it does 13% damage, and she basically just kicks backward while spinning, and then turns to face that direction. So you don't even have to move manually. She turns by herself when using back air, and it's actually commonly used to start a wall of pain. That's how I start my walls of pains. I usually go for the back air, turn around. Actually, you don't need to turn around. Then do neutral airs and forward air to get them off the stage.
And then her up aerial, she just basically waves her hand up above her, and it's very short range, but it you can basically hit at any point during the animation, and it'll still be just as good, so there's no sour spot for that, and it's a pretty good attack for juggling opponents.
Yeah, and it does combo out of up throw at low percents. Her down aerial is the most damaging one if you hit all 9 times. It is a drill kick, similar to Yoshi's. She drills down, hitting multiple times. Oh my god. She drills down, hitting multiple times, and it's pretty unsafe to hit the ground with it because it does have a lot of landing lag. But in the air, it's a pretty good move.
So that'll bring us now to some of her better attacks, being her smash attacks. For her forward smash, she slides forward a little bit while kicking, and it's very powerful, but it's quite laggy. But it's still a pretty good KO move.
Yeah, it is her longest forward range attack, and it is her most damaging smash attack. Her up smash is an attack in which she headbutts forward. And it's most effective if the opponent is standing behind you when the move starts, because they get hit by the brunt of the attack, similar to Little Max. It's most simple. Little Max up smash. It's most powerful when you hit it right when he's lifting up. Same with Jigglypuff, and it is also a pretty viable KO move.
That'll bring us to her down smash. She kicks out to both of her sides. While you charge, Jigglypuff spins around in circles, basically, and you just attack outwards to the side, to both sides, and it's actually very high knockback out to the side, so it's pushing your opponents quite far out.
Yeah, and down. So, now Nikki, tell us about her stage entrance and her many home battlefields.
Oh, I don't know if I can get all those. So her stage entrance, she comes out of a Pokeball, and she just dances around a little bit. On the 3DS, she has 2 on each of the systems that Smash Bros is on. On the 3DS, she has the Unova Pokemon League and Prison Tower, and on the Wii U, she has the Kalos Pokemon League and Pokemon Stadium 2.
And for trivia for Jigglypuff, her and Ness are the only 2 of the original 12 characters to not appear in any newcomer poster art. Which is a shame, actually, because those 2 are 2 of the coolest original 12, in my opinion. She can actually avoid damage. It's extremely hard to time, but she can avoid damage with her down taunt if used at the right time. She's the only starter character in Smash Bros. Wii U who has a challenge exclusive to her that cannot be unlocked with a golden hammer. Her textures are actually reused from Pokemon X and Y. Her official artwork pose is a mirrored version of her pose from Pokemon Red and Green. And it's also the only Smash Bros. Game that doesn't have Jigglypuff fully facing the screen when she's posing for her artwork. And she was the last character from the original 12 to be announced for the game. So, pretty interesting. Yeah. And for her final smash.
Best final smash in the game, by the way.
We have Puff Up, which is, I'm sure you've seen it from Brawl. She basically grows. It wills its body to get larger and larger, and it works extremely well in small stages. When it's at its peak size, anyone touching Jigglypuff is blasted away, actually with considerable knockback. She cannot be harmed during this attack, which is good. If used while you're in the air, you don't fall down. You do, you do stall there when you use it, and it's much more effective, as I said, when you use it on small stages. So if you're using Jigglypuff on a big stage like Palutena's Temple, you might as well just not even waste your time with the Smash Ball.
Dear God, Palutena's Temple would be a horrible one to have Jigglypuffs on.
Yeah.
Jigglypuff's final smash is horrible.
Yeah. So, Nikki, why don't you start with what your strategy should be when you're trying to use Jigglypuff?
Honestly, the main strategy here with most people, and I'm no exception, is to use the Wall of Pain. I generally start. There are many ways that you could start it, as Tyler said. What do you use?
I use back air.
He uses back air to start it. I personally generally use her dash attack to start it. It knocks him into the air, and then you can start the Wall of Pain. I'm not actually very good at doing the Wall of Pain, but when you get it done, it's very fulfilling to actually knock the opponent way off the edge where they can't recover. Other than that, there's not really much else. You can land many hits, and I like to generally just kind of float around the stage so no one can hit me. And then once they've lost all hope, go in for the kill.
Yeah.
If you can somehow manage to get a sing off, most people like Tyler would recommend using a forward smash or something like that. I mean, I personally almost always go for a rest anyways, even though it's risky. If you can get like right up against them, there's a 90% chance you'll hit them as long as you're like touching the character. So I like to do that too, but other than that, pretty much the Wall of Pain is Jigglypuff's main strategy.
She is the lightest character in the game, so that means she's so light that if her shield is popped, it does instantly kill her, regardless of what damage she's at. She's extremely small, that helps her and harms her. That means her attacks do have limited range, but that does mean she can avoid a lot of projectiles like Link's bow or Samus's missile. When you're trying to land a rest, I know when I first learned about Jigglypuff and Brawl, I really wanted to use rest, but I was concerned how hard a move it is to use. A tip for you is that if a good way to land it, you use pound to pop the enemy up, and then you just short hop and use a rest. If you don't know how to short hop, it's just a quick tap of the up button, which is your jump button, and you get into the air, and then you can use a rest. It's almost a guaranteed combo for her. She has a bunch of amazing recovery options. and her Wall of Pain works better against heavier characters. But as we said, Jigglypuff's main problem is how incredibly light she is. It really is unfortunate because if she was just a little bit heavier, she would be incredible, but she's so hampered by how light she is. So in general, you just kind of want to stay in the air with Jigglypuff. When you're jumping, don't remain stationary because she can get comboed. She's able to move back and forth a lot in the air. You can use this to your advantage and be pretty unpredictable. Rollout is good to get some damage off here and there. Forward air and sing can lead into smash attacks, which is good. And you can use forward air and back air to push your opponents off stage, as we said. But as Nikki said, Wall of Pain is Jigglypuff's main shtick, so kind of go for that when you're using her.
Yeah.
So, Nikki, you want to outro us out?
Oh, okay. So, this has been Smash Standby for Jigglypuff. Make sure you guys stay tuned for later episodes of Smash Standby and any kind of other new series that we might have, or any of our ongoing series right now. And make sure you check out our Twitter at DoGoOn4. Don't ask why there's a 4 there. We'll never tell. If we tell you, we'll have to kill you. Anyways, see you next time for the next Do Go On video.
See you guys later.